My beloved child. The moment this story opens, a quiet knock has already changed everything, because somewhere beyond the edge of your ordinary day a sealed envelope has arrived carrying a truth that was never meant to stay hidden forever, and even before it is opened its weight can be felt pressing against your fate like a secret that has waited patiently for the right heartbeat to reveal itself, and as you stand here listening to this, you are closer than ever to discovering why your name was written with such careful intention on that letter, why someone went to extraordinary lengths to make sure it reached you today of all days, and why what is inside it is not just about money or property but about a legacy that has been circling your life since the moment you were born, drawing invisible lines between your past, your present, and a future that is about to shift in ways you never imagined. Amin. Something about this letter feels different from every message you have ever received, because it did not come with noise or urgency but with a strange calm that almost feels sacred, as if the universe itself took a breath before delivering it into your hands, and when you imagine breaking the seal you can sense that whatever is written inside has been waiting for you to be ready, not ready in age but ready in spirit, ready to understand a truth that connects you to a story far bigger than your own, and deep inside you already know that this inheritance is not just a reward but a revelation, a key that unlocks a chapter of your family history that was deliberately kept out of sight, hidden behind polite smiles, unspoken agreements, and promises whispered long before you ever took your first step in this world. Amin. As your eyes follow the lines of this unseen letter in your mind, you begin to feel the presence of those who came before you, not in a haunting way but in a gentle, powerful way, as if their hopes and sacrifices are leaning forward, eager to be acknowledged, because this inheritance is not the result of chance but the outcome of a choice made by someone who believed in you long before you ever knew their name, someone who saw in your spirit a strength, a kindness, a resilience that deserved to be honored in a way no simple gift ever could, and that is why this letter carries such a heavy silence, because it is the final bridge between what was hidden and what is about to be revealed. Amin. Every word inside that envelope was written with intention, and although you have not yet seen them, they already seem to echo in your heart, telling you that what you are about to receive will answer questions you did not even realize you had been asking, questions about why certain doors in your life never fully closed, why certain opportunities seem to appear just when you needed them, and why there has always been a quiet sense that you were meant for something more than the path you have been walking, and when this inheritance steps into your life, it will not simply add to what you have but will redefine who you are allowed to become. Amin. So as this first chapter draws to a close, hold on to this feeling, this gentle but powerful tension that sits between curiosity and destiny, because the letter that arrived today is only the beginning of a chain of revelations that will unfold piece by piece, leading you toward a truth that has been waiting patiently to meet you, and when you finally see what has been left in your name, you will understand that it was never just about what you inherit, but about the role you are meant to play in a story that is far from finished and is only now beginning to speak directly to you. Amin. Part 2. From the very first moment the envelope was placed in your hands, something invisible but powerful shifted around you, as if the air itself had become aware that a long-guarded truth was about to breathe again, and when you finally imagined opening it, every line inside seemed to glow with a quiet authority, revealing that the inheritance mentioned was not a simple transfer of wealth but a carefully protected legacy that had traveled through generations, bypassing many names until it reached yours, because you were the one whose heart and choices matched the promise written decades ago, and this realization alone carries a weight that makes your entire life suddenly feel like it was leading toward this single moment. Amin. The letter speaks of lands, accounts, and assets, yet beneath those formal words there is a deeper message, one that explains how a forgotten relative once built something extraordinary, something meant to protect and provide for those who would carry their values forward, and while others saw only numbers and titles, this person saw something rare in you, a spirit that could honor what was created rather than waste it. And that is why your name was chosen, not out of convenience but out of trust, a trust that stretches across time like a hand reaching forward, waiting for yours to take it and continue what was started so long ago. Amin. As the truth unfolds, you begin to realize that many of the quiet struggles you endured, many of the moments when you felt unseen or underestimated, were not meaningless at all but were shaping you into someone capable of handling what is now being placed in your care, because this inheritance is not only a gift but a responsibility, a chance to turn past pain into future stability, to transform hidden effort into visible success, and to finally step into a role that was written for you long before you ever suspected such a path existed. Amin. What makes this revelation even more powerful is the way it connects to small, strange coincidences in your life, the moments when help arrived just in time, when a door opened unexpectedly, or when you felt guided without knowing why, and now it becomes clear that these were not random at all but gentle nudges from a legacy that was quietly protecting you until the day you would be strong enough to claim it. And as you read deeper into the letter, every line feels like it is gently lifting a veil, showing you how carefully everything has been aligned. Amin. By the time you reach the final words of this part of the letter, your heart is no longer just curious but awakened, because you understand that what has been left to you is more than something you can hold in your hands, it is something that will change the way you see yourself, your family, and your future, and this is only the beginning, because what lies ahead will reveal not just what you have inherited, but why you, of all people, were chosen to receive it today. Amin. Part 3. As the next page of the letter unfolds, a deeper layer of truth begins to breathe through every sentence, because now it is no longer speaking only about what has been given to you, but about what was taken from your family long ago and carefully recovered just in time for you, revealing a story of resilience, quiet battles, and a determination that refused to let a powerful legacy fade into nothing. And as you imagine these words, you can feel how close this history has always been to you, even when you never knew its name. Amin. The letter describes how there were moments when everything could have been lost, when the inheritance was almost swallowed by confusion, disputes, and the passage of time, yet there was always someone standing in the shadows, protecting it for the one who would truly value it, and that person believed that you would one day arrive, not as someone chasing riches, but as someone ready to give meaning to what was preserved. And that belief is what carried this legacy safely through years of uncertainty. Amin. You start to see how this hidden story mirrors parts of your own life, the times when you felt pushed aside, when your efforts were not recognized, when it seemed easier for others to take than to understand, yet you kept going with a quiet strength, and now the letter is showing you that this strength was never invisible, that it was seen, honored, and rewarded in a way that is about to reshape everything you thought you knew about your place in this world. Amin. Every line you imagine reading feels like a gentle hand on your shoulder, reminding you that this inheritance is not meant to separate you from others, but to empower you to create stability, generosity, and purpose where there was once uncertainty, and as you let these words sink in, a new kind of confidence begins to grow, not loud or boastful, but steady and deep, the kind that comes from knowing you are finally stepping into a destiny that was prepared for you with great care. Amin. By the end of this section, you are no longer wondering if this letter is real, because its truth feels too aligned with your journey to be anything else, and what lies ahead promises even more clarity, more revelation, and a deeper understanding of why this inheritance did not come earlier or later, but arrived exactly when you were ready to receive it and use it in a way that honors both the past and the future that is now opening before you. Amin. Part 4. Now the letter reaches a turning point, where the words no longer feel like a story from the past but like a door opening directly in front of you, because this part explains how the inheritance is not only about what was saved, but about what is about to be released into your life, revealing opportunities that will come to you through this legacy, chances to build, to protect, and to uplift not just yourself but everyone connected to your journey, and as you take in this truth, you begin to feel how different your future is about to look from the quiet days you once knew. Amin. It speaks of resources that were set aside with one clear purpose, to make sure that when you stepped into this role, you would never again have to doubt your ability to move forward with confidence, because the one who created this inheritance believed that security allows the heart to dream bigger, to love more freely, and to give without fear, and this is why so much care was taken to ensure that what belongs to you now would arrive untouched, waiting patiently for your hands and your vision to guide it into something meaningful. Amin. As you let these words settle inside you, a gentle but powerful realization begins to form, that this inheritance is not here to change who you are, but to reveal who you have always been beneath every struggle and every delay, a person meant to stand strong, to lead with kindness, and to create something lasting, and the letter almost seems to whisper that this moment is not luck but alignment, the perfect meeting of preparation and opportunity that rarely comes twice in one lifetime. Amin. The final lines of this part describe how the first steps of claiming this inheritance will bring you into contact with people who have been waiting to support this transition, individuals who know the full story and who are ready to help you understand every detail, and while this might feel overwhelming, it is also deeply reassuring, because it means you are not stepping into this new chapter alone, but are being guided with the same care that protected this legacy for so many years. Amin. As this section of the letter closes, you can feel a quiet excitement rising, not loud or rushed, but steady and full of promise, because you know that what arrived today was not just an envelope but an invitation to a life that holds more security, more purpose, and more possibility than you ever thought was meant for you, and with every word you have imagined so far, the path ahead is becoming clearer, brighter, and filled with a future that is finally ready to meet you. Amin. Part 5. At this stage of the letter, the energy shifts once again, moving from revelation into something far more intimate, because now it begins to speak directly to you, not as a beneficiary but as a guardian of what has been entrusted to your name, explaining that this inheritance was never designed to sit quietly in accounts or behind locked doors, but to move through your hands into the world, creating stability, opportunity, and hope in places that once knew only uncertainty, and as you imagine these words, you can feel how deeply they align with the kind of heart you carry. Amin. The message reminds you that true inheritance is not measured by what you receive, but by what you allow to grow from it, and this legacy was built by someone who believed in planting seeds that would continue to bear fruit long after they were gone, which is why you were chosen, because you understand patience, you understand care, and you understand how something small can become something powerful when it is nurtured with intention, and this understanding makes you the perfect bridge between what was created and what is about to flourish. Amin. You start to realize that many of the dreams you once kept quietly inside yourself now have the chance to become real, not in a reckless way, but in a grounded, thoughtful way that honors both ambition and responsibility, and this inheritance is giving you more than financial freedom, it is giving you the space to finally explore your potential without fear of falling, to build something that reflects your values, and to create a future that feels not just successful but deeply fulfilling. Amin. The letter also speaks of gratitude, not asking for it, but offering it to you, thanking you in advance for the care you will bring to this legacy, for the choices you will make, and for the way you will carry forward a story that was once hidden but is now alive again through you, and there is something incredibly moving about being trusted in this way, as if someone from another time is quietly watching, proud of the path you are about to walk. Amin. As this part comes to a close, you are left with a sense of calm strength, the kind that comes from knowing you are stepping into something that fits you perfectly, and while there is still more to be revealed, you already understand that this inheritance is not just changing your circumstances, it is affirming your worth, your journey, and the powerful role you are meant to play in a story that has finally found its rightful voice through you. Amin. Part 6. As the final pages of the letter begin to reveal themselves, a gentle sense of completion moves through every word, because now it is no longer only about what you have received or what you will build, but about how this inheritance brings together every broken piece of the past into something whole, something that finally makes sense, and as you imagine reading these lines, you feel how deeply everything in your life has been preparing you for this moment, even the times when nothing seemed to be going right. Amin. The message explains that this legacy was always meant to reach someone who could look back without bitterness and forward without fear, someone who could hold both gratitude and ambition in the same heart, and that is why it waited, patiently, until you arrived, because you have the rare ability to respect where something came from while still daring to imagine where it can go, and this balance is what makes you worthy of what has been placed in your care today. Amin. You begin to understand that this inheritance is not just closing one chapter but opening many others, each filled with opportunities to create stability for yourself and those you love, to turn long-held dreams into steady realities, and to build a future that feels both secure and inspired, and as this truth settles in, it brings a quiet joy that does not shout but stays with you, steady and warm, reminding you that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Amin. The letter speaks one last time about trust, explaining that what you do next will shape how this legacy continues to live in the world, not through documents or titles, but through the impact you make, the kindness you show, and the way you choose to use what you have been given, and this responsibility does not feel heavy, it feels right, as if you have finally stepped into a role that was waiting for you to grow into it. Amin. As you imagine folding this letter and holding it close, you know that nothing will ever be quite the same again, not because something has been taken away, but because something extraordinary has been added to your life, something that brings clarity, confidence, and a sense of belonging that goes far beyond any material gift, and with this final revelation, the journey that began with a simple envelope has now become a powerful new beginning for everything that is still to come. Amin. Part 7. What remains after the last line of the letter is a silence that feels full rather than empty, a silence that carries the quiet certainty that your life has just crossed an invisible threshold, because even though the pages have ended, the meaning of what you received is only now beginning to unfold, and as you hold this truth inside you, it becomes clear that this inheritance was never meant to simply be claimed, but to be lived, breathed, and expressed through every choice you make from this day forward. Amin. You start to notice how differently you see the world, how the worries that once felt overwhelming now seem smaller against the steady confidence that has taken root in you, because knowing that you are supported by a legacy built with care gives you the courage to move forward without hesitation, to trust your instincts, and to step into opportunities that once felt out of reach. And this quiet transformation is perhaps the greatest gift of all. Amin. The story that began with a single envelope has now become part of who you are, woven into your identity in a way that cannot be undone, and as you think about the future, you no longer see only uncertainty, but possibility, growth, and the chance to create something meaningful that will one day be remembered with the same respect that brought this inheritance to you. And this realization fills your heart with a deep sense of purpose that goes beyond anything you have known before. Amin. Every step you take from here carries the echo of what was entrusted to you, reminding you that you are not walking alone but alongside the hopes of those who believed in you before you ever knew their names, and this awareness brings a sense of connection that is both grounding and uplifting, because it shows you that your journey has always been part of a much larger story that is still being written. Amin. As this final part closes, there is no dramatic ending, only a powerful beginning, because the real story now moves from the pages of that letter into the way you choose to live, to build, and to give, and with the inheritance that arrived today, you are no longer just waiting for something big to happen, you have become the one through whom something truly extraordinary is ready to unfold. Amin.